Heading into this most recent console generation, Sony was the company to beat. But in many ways, it ended up defeating itself. A high price for entry, a confounding system architecture, and a publishing process full of red tape and corporate bureaucracy. With the PS4 on the horizon, Sony has addressed one of these issues by confirming that its next console will use a more developer-friendly PC-style system design. And now, here at GDC, Sony has begun to reveal the ways it's revamping its publishing process to bring new developers on board. At this point, Sony is pretty much saying all the right things. Going forward, they want to introduce a simpler, more streamlined way to let developers publish their games on PlayStation devices, be they PS3, PS4, Vita, or mobile. This includes things like slashing the number of steps in their concept approval process, letting developers choose the price and release date for their PSN titles, something Microsoft does not do with Xbox Live, and waiving patch fees for indie developers. It's a huge list of changes, and at the risk of going into too much detail, let's just say Sony knows what a pain in the neck its publishing process has been in the past, and they want to fix it. To show some of the progress they've made, Sony held an event at GDC showcasing dozens of new indie titles coming to PSN and Vita. Because, let's admit it, if there's one indicator for how easy your publishing process is, it's the number of small developers who have been able to make it through without funding from a major publisher. And in Sony's defense, they're showcasing a lot of great titles. Some of the biggest indie hits from the past few years are coming to Vita, games like Limbo, Hotline Miami, and Spelunky. There are also original indie titles coming to PSN, like Vlambeer's super slick fighter pilot game Luftrausers, and the ridiculous and quite fun two-button fighting game Dive Kick. Then, you've got all the games including in the Sports Friends bundle, including Hakura, a delightful cross between Pong and ice hockey that echoes the classic days of local multiplayer, and Super Pole Riders, an incredibly fun two-player game about a pole vaulting competition gone to hell. These are indie titles that are innovative, daring, and quite often the type of stuff you'd rarely see from a major publisher. But the one thing they have in common is that they reflect Sony's new focus on going hard after indie developers and working on making sure that their publishing system doesn't squeeze out the little guy the way it once did. But for all the progress Sony has shown, there's still more left to prove. The biggest item is proving that it makes financial sense for indie developers to partner with Sony. That game company recently revealed that prior to shipping Journey, they were on the verge of bankruptcy. Considering that game company has long been the poster child of indie developers creating games exclusively for PlayStation, that has to be a little scary for any developer looking to partner with Sony. So what can Sony do? Well, they've got to make sure that the PlayStation Network storefront is suited for the inevitable flood of smaller titles that'll result from lowering this barrier to entry. Steam does a great job of promoting indie titles right alongside the big AAA stuff, and it's one of the big reasons so many indie developers go PC first. With Microsoft turning the Xbox dashboard into more and more of a bloated advertisement for movies and music videos, while relegating its actual indie games to the failed experiment that is the Xbox Live Indie Games channel, there's a great opportunity for Sony to move in and adapt the Steam model for consoles. They've got to aggressively promote the latest and greatest indie games in order to give these developers a chance to succeed on the platform. Beyond that, don't let a game die once it's been out for a week and falls off the front page. Steam is constantly resurfacing old games through sales and bundles, while still giving people a reason to go digging through the archives because it's been able to teach people that there's a treasure trove of gems just waiting to be discovered. Sony's got to teach its customers that digging through PSN is worth their time, that it's not just wallpapers and themes and DLC they'll find by searching around, but actual, honest-to-goodness games that have gone overlooked. As is, PSN isn't really designed for this type of backlog discovery. Sony's got to retool it if they've got any hope for fostering an indie game marketplace. It's going to be a tough uphill climb for Sony, especially when you consider the robust indie scene that already exists on PC. But Sony is making some great first steps with the games it's showcasing here at GDC. Now it's time to build on that. It's time to prove that these are lasting changes that are going to benefit both Sony and the developers who are putting themselves on the line, developing for the next wave of PlayStation platforms.
Oh, the toe! The toe dead. how it happens.
Oh my God, no way.